Okay, let's dive right in. We're looking today at something pretty critical. Why know your customer and know your business, KYC and KYB, why these systems often seem to fail, letting huge frauds slip through. And for you listening, this is really about understanding what some call the compliance gap.
Hmm.
So the basic problem that our research points to is this. Traditional checks, they rely on a single snapshot in time. You know, you check a company when they first come on board, and that's kind of it. The file gets closed. But risk isn't static, right? It changes. That snapshot gets old fast. And it creates this dangerous gap where big risks get missed, like setting up shop in a sanctioned country.
That's exactly it. And what the really sharp firms are realizing now is that the biggest clue, the most powerful signal of new risk, it often isn't some financial weirdness, not at first anyway. It's actually how a company's structure changes and grows, new subsidiaries popping up, complex mergers, different owners, that kind of thing. The structural stuff, it's basically the earliest warning you can get for, potential trouble or fraud down the line.
Right, so we need to move beyond that static file cabinet idea.
Yeah.
We need something continuous. The research we looked at calls it Perpetual KYB KYC. Moving from that occasional check to more like a real-time risk radar, getting rid of slow manual checks and actually managing risk better.
Exactly. And this perpetual idea, it really only becomes possible when you bring in open source intelligence, OSINT. And OSINT isn't just like Googling stuff, it's pretty sophisticated. It takes huge amounts of public, unstructured data, news, records, filings from all over, and uses smart tech. Things like entity recognition and semantic analysis. So the system isn't just finding names, it's understanding who is who and mapping out all these complex global connections, verifying identities.
Hold on a sec.
Sure.
Semantic analysis. Are you saying this tech is smart enough to really map out, say, deep into a supply chain, beyond the immediate partner?
Oh, absolutely. It maps parents, subsidiaries, who really owns the company, the beneficial owners. You can get visibility way beyond just tier 1 or tier 2 suppliers. And the real power here is focusing on the change event. That unexpected new company formation, a sudden takeover, that's the trigger, not waiting for some arbitrary review date on the calendar.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So if OSINT is the tech doing the work, what specific structural red flags is this radar looking for?
Well, we're talking about spotting things like an expansion into a really high-risk country, or maybe one under sanctions pretty much the moment it happens,
Well,
or tracing these really complicated ownership chains,
yeah.
through layers of new shell companies to find out who's actually pulling the strings, who the hidden owners are.
And we've seen major collapses where this kind of focus could have, well, maybe changed things. Let's talk about autonomy.
Yeah. Autonomy is a classic case for M&A signals. The collapse there didn't happen overnight. It was preceded by this pattern, this constant stream of acquisitions, aggressive ones. And some were strategically really questionable, like that microlink deal, that constant structural churn, that activity. That was the real warning sign of the financial problems way before the big write-downs happened.
So that pattern of structural change was the key.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Wirecard? That was different, wasn't it?
Wirecard, yeah, its structure seemed deliberately complex, almost sprawling. The big signal there was this huge network of companies in places that aren't very transparent. Think the Philippines, Singapore, and also how much it relied on these opaque third-party acquirers, these TPAs. If you were monitoring continuously, you would have seen these repeated kind of weird incorporations in high-risk places without a clear business reason.
Wrapping this up for everyone listening, the main takeaway here seems really crucial. Focusing on how a company's structure changes. It transforms compliance. It stops being just a reactive, backward-looking chore, like ticking boxes, and becomes something strategic, proactive, a real intelligence function, a genuine risk radar operating in real time.
And that's the key point. Look, this system isn't a crystal ball. It's not designed to predict fraud with 100% certainty. What it does do is provide these structured early signals, flags for anomalous behavior that tell you, hey, a human needs to look into this now. So you really have to ask yourself, when you look at your business partners, your supply chain, are you truly confident you'd spot that expansion into a risky market the instant it happens? Or are you basically just waiting for the next scheduled review, hoping for the best, that time gap? That's your real exposure right now.